Well, good morning. This is a very good morning. This is a great morning for Forsyth Tech, for the whole Winston-Salem area, for the Triad, state of North Carolina, and I think more broadly for workforce development in the United States. So we're really pleased to be here. I want to thank all of you for being here. I know that as soon as I start introducing people, I'm going to leave some people out, but there's some people that I really do want to recognize being here today, and if I leave someone out, I apologize right up front, but we're really pleased to have some of our members of our Board of Trustees, the chairman of our board, Ed Welch, and board member Andrea Keppel with you. Thank you for your long-term ongoing support for Forsyth Tech and what we are doing. A number of members of our foundation board are here today, and I thank all of you for being here, and also members of our community, our nonprofit community, our economic development community, our government community here in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. And also have, I don't know if I didn't see the Forsyth County Commissioners, but we have several members of the Stokes County Commission here and the county manager. Thank you all so much for coming from Stokes County and being a part of this and being a part of Forsyth Tech. That's very important to us. I want to recognize all of our faculty and staff who are here, particularly maybe our faculty and our leadership in our biotechnology area. Certainly our Vice President for Instructional Services, Dr. Conley Weinbarger, our Dean, Michael Harris, the Chairman of our Biotech Committee, Alan Beard, Lucien Huanu, and Aju Lekwawa. They may be some of them still be in class. We were up visiting with them a few months ago. Well, they may be in class, but I appreciate their leadership and really providing the strong support for biotechnology and making Forsyth Tech one of the leaders in biotechnology in our state and country. Certainly our students, and a number of students are here, our student ambassadors are here. Thank you so much. We have some other platform guests that are going to be introduced, but want to recognize those that are with us. I know a new member of our community, Eric Tomlinson from the Piedmont Triad Research Park in Wake Forest is with us. Eric, welcome. It's nice to have you here and have you in our community and leading bioscience and innovation work in our community. Certainly very pleased to have Deputy Secretary Harris who will be introduced in a moment, and others. But to start off, I have greetings from Congressman Mel Watt is with us. And I'm really pleased to have Congressman Watt here. He's been a great friend of Forsyth Tech, great supporter of our work here at the college and throughout Winston-Salem and certainly throughout his district and the state of North Carolina. Representative Watt is from Mecklenburg County. He's a graduate of Chapel Hill with a law degree from Yale University, and since 1992 has been in the House of Representatives representing North Carolina's 12th district. He's a member of the House Judiciary Committee and ranking member of its subcommittee on intellectual property, competition, and the internet, and also on the subcommittee for courts, commercial and administrative law. He also serves on the House Financial Services Committee, Subcommittee on Financial Institutions and Consumer Credit, and Subcommittee on Insurance, Housing, Community Opportunity. He's a former chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, so he's a leader within our Congress. One thing I found really, really impressive is that before he retired from the Democratic baseball team in 2008, where he was the starting pitcher for a number of years, he was the most valuable player on the Democratic baseball team in the years 1995, 96, and the year 2000. So he has so many talents that he brings to representing the 12th district, and I'm really pleased and honored to have Congressman Mel Watt with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Green, for hosting us for this important announcement today, and for all of the work that Forsyth Tech has done to bring attention and accolades to our community. We seem to keep coming back to Forsyth Tech over and over and over again. And it's not because of anything we are doing, it's because of what Forsyth Tech is doing, and I want to thank them. I want to welcome Undersecretary, Deputy Secretary Harris, who's going to make an important announcement here shortly, and assure him that anytime he wants to come back and make an announcement of the kind that he's going to make, he's going to be welcome in North Carolina and in my congressional district. So we're really happy. I'm especially happy today for some other reasons, because the announcement today here impacts not only Forsyth Tech, which is very important to my congressional district in the Forsyth area of my district, but it has a part of it that will benefit Rowan Cabarrus Tech in Salisbury and Cabarrus County, which is also in my congressional district. So it's benefiting them. And at about the same time that this conference is taking place here to make this announcement, there's another conference that's taking place out in Wichita, Kansas, where they're announcing a similar kind of grant for GTCC in the Greensboro part of my district. So maybe I should leave here and fly out to Wichita and participate in that one too. But more importantly, this is critical because of the important work that will be done as a result of these grants. I can't think of anybody who deserves to have the retraining and the upgrading in skills more than people who have been displaced by having their jobs lost as a result of outsourcing and companies moving their plants to other places. And that's really what this grant is focused on, retraining people who have lost their jobs as a result of displacement and the loss of jobs to other countries. And it gives us an opportunity to take people who were operating at one level and move their skill levels to a higher level, and their compensation to a higher level, all of which is good, but at the same time we have to recognize that during this transition process, it's a painful process for a lot of these people. Forsyth Tech has brought together this consortium that will be a benefit to people throughout a number of different parts of the country. As far away, in fact, as San Francisco, this grant will be providing assistance. So it's just a delightful thing to have a grant of this kind being announced in Forsyth, and more importantly, the benefits that will be derived from it as a result of our workforce being improved and people being able to get reemployed and employed at a better and higher wage is just absolutely important to us. So I thank all of you for being here. I'm not going to upstage the announcement, but I'm just happy that this money is finding its way back into our community, and delighted to have you all here participate in today's announcement. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Congressman Watt, for being with us. Thank you for your long-term ongoing support for Forsyth Tech, Community College in your districts and throughout the state of North Carolina. I want to talk just a little bit about the background. By the way, I did tell you I was going to forget someone. I do want to recognize Dr. Steve Scott, president at Wake Tech. In addition to Forsyth Tech, leading a national partnership with our partners that are here from around the country, and Guilford Tech participating in a consortium that's being led out of Wichita. Wake Tech is receiving one of the Trade Adjustment Act grants as well to a single institution. Congratulations, Steve, and thank you for being here. Yeah. You know, Forsyth Tech really began its commitment to workforce development in our region 50 years ago. It was established to make sure that the employers of Forsyth and Stokes County and the areas around us had the skilled workforce that they need. Some of our first programs were things like machining and licensed practical nursing and auto mechanics. We still have all those programs today, but we also now have biotechnology and nanotechnology, advanced manufacturing, a whole array of clinical health programs to meet the workforce development needs of this community and our region today. We began with the leaders, the business leaders of our community, with Haynes and with Reynolds and with Western Electric and those companies that helped make Winston-Salem the great community that it was. But those legacy industries and that legacy economy changed. I used to tell people about 10 years or so ago, we had a wonderfully diverse economy in Winston-Salem. We had furniture, we had apparel and textiles and tobacco. Who could ask for a more diverse economy? Well, today, some of those companies and some of those organizations are still very important to us, but certainly our economic environment has changed. Now, biotechnology, the biosciences, life sciences are so important to us. And we've partnered with many of the people throughout in this room and throughout this community to make sure that we were addressing the workforce development needs, not just of the past, but of today. We began biotechnology at Forsyth Tech really in 2002 in response to the growth of medical research around Wake Forest University and Wake Forest Health Sciences, the development of the Piedmont Triad Research Park as a regional driver for economic growth and jobs in our community. And we really began with developing a brand new associate degree program. And then we grew that to participate in the state BioNetwork initiative, the state's effort to reaffirm its leadership in biotech and life sciences, and partnering with Guilford Tech, we headed up the Pharmaceutical Training Center for BioNetwork. Then we added a national role, working with the Department of Labor. We received a couple of grants in the 2002 and 2005 area to establish ultimately the National Center for the Biotechnology Workforce, right here at Forsyth Tech in Winston-Salem. And that center then partnered with other national entities such as the National Science Foundation and other entities across the United States that were growing that whole sector of our national economy. And we've been honored and pleased to have that national role, and Russ Reed, who you'll hear from in a moment, has been just absolutely instrumental in the growth of biotechnology workforce initiatives, not only here, but across the United States. So we've grown from serving our community to serving our state, ultimately to serve our nation around biotech, life sciences, and will continue to do so. 2 years ago, we had the opportunity also to partner with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the National Association of Manufacturers, their Manufacturing Institute, to help roll out and to create and roll out third-party endorsed skill certifications for technicians, starting with manufacturing. But we partnered with the Gates Foundations and NAM across the country to pilot the integration of new credentials in community college degrees and diplomas. And that's been a great success. Been a great success for us, been a great success across North Carolina. And now as you hear our national leaders talk about workforce development, it's those credentials, those certified credentials, and the certified skills that are so important to employers today And I'm very pleased that Forsyth Tech has been a leader in that. So today we're building on all of that work that's already occurred. And we are so pleased to have Deputy Secretary Harris here, to have his support and the support of Secretary Solis and others at the Department of Labor. I was telling Assistant Secretary that we kind of warmed up for this program today by having President Obama here in 2010. We thought we would have him in, kind of go through the paces so we would be ready when Seth, when you got here. But we certainly were honored to have both President Bush and President Obama here, looking at the work we were doing around biotech and looking at the models we were creating for workforce. Because we are addressing, and our partners are addressing, the kinds of issues that are so important today on the national stage. That is, provide access for higher education for those people who may be struggling, who may have lost their jobs, or may have family members or parents who have lost their jobs and need opportunity and need the opportunity that community colleges can bring to them. So providing that opportunity, providing that access. If you look at our students that are here today, our students that are upstairs in our labs, students that are in our shops, you will find a tremendously diverse set of students. We've got a lot of 18, 19-year-olds right out of high school that are excited about the opportunities for their future. We've got a lot of 35 and 40-year-olds who have come to us after maybe working in other sectors of our economy and are preparing themselves for the jobs of tomorrow. And that's their opportunity, and that's their hope, and that's their excitement for the future. You'll see that we represent the entire community, the diversity of our community, the ethnic diversity of our community, the racial diversity of our community, the gender diversity. All of those elements that make up of our community are right here preparing for their futures at Forsyth Tech and in our community colleges in North Carolina and our community colleges across the country. So we're doing that important work, and so that's why I think that some people ask, well, why does Forsyth Tech get these folks coming? I think it's coming because we're doing really the important work to prepare people for the future and to give them opportunity and hope going forward. I'm really pleased to introduce to you Russ Reed. I know many of you know Russ. He's been in the bioscience industry for business for 35 plus years, working with Burroughs Wellcome, Glasgow Wellcome companies. He was involved in the development of antivirals such as AZT and others for the development of treatment for AIDS. Russ was a leader nationally in finding the medicines and the treatments for that devastating disease, and his work directly has made a difference across the world. He became involved in the national workforce, biotech workforce area when he joined us as the director of the National Center for the Biotechnology Workforce that is housed and centered here at Forsyth Tech. He's a trained biologist, educator, also taught inner city kids science in Montreal prior to coming to our area, so he's got that educational experience as well. Was directed the advisory committee for the biotech center, the regional biotech center here, and serves on as a director of NC Bio. So with that, I'm really honored to and pleased to bring our leader for biotechnology to the lectern, Russ Reed. Russ?
Well, good morning, everybody. This is just a fabulous day, and I want to thank Dr. Green. I want to thank the officials here and Deputy Secretary Harris for coming today. What I want to do right now, to be honest with you, is just to have everybody who worked on this grant stand up, and I'm talking about everybody. So if you're in finance or if you're in learning, whatever, please just rise up right now and let's do a round of applause. Okay, now, if you were here on March 8th by a meeting sponsored by the North Carolina Biotech Center, I want you to rise again. Well, I'm from Glaxo and Burroughs Wellcome, a long history before coming to the college. And you know, what they used to tell us is good meetings start on time and they end on time. So we value your time today. So we're going to try to get the point of the grant across very quickly. This is for level entry or entry-level jobs. These are biotech technicians. They can be chemistry technicians. They can be environmental technicians. But that's what we're looking at with respect to these people. Now, what we've done is we've strategically come together. And let me just actually stop for a second here. You have to be very careful when, I've learned in industry and also learned at Foresight Tech, be very careful when the president comes to you, especially after the holidays, and sits you down in January, the first day back, and says, I've got a vision. Now, this has happened a few times here at Foresight Tech, and I think we can all cheer and applause to that effect, can't we? But that's truly what happened. Dr. Green called us all in the first day back and said, I've been playing on my iPad all during the holidays, and I've done this great grand schema, and this is going to be our Trade Assistance Allowance grant. And we looked at it and we said, we can work it. We can do that. But it was really essential that we have some great partnerships in place, and this is where I really want to call on a few people to rise. So this will be in medical devices, it will be in biomanufacturing, and it will be in lab skills. And we really could not have done this without the aid of our NSF colleagues who have had what they call ATE grants, Advanced Technological Education grants. And we knew if we didn't have our NSF colleagues working with DOL, and we've had great past experience working with both, but we knew we needed to have everybody at the table. We needed to have the employers at the table. We needed to have the support organizations workforce, and we needed to have as many as we could bioscience workforce organizations and company organizations with us. Well, the proof of the pudding is we were able to do it, and that is the beauty in what we did. So I would just like to have, in particular, Dr. Elaine Johnson of City College of San Francisco, who leads the NSF ATE BioLink RISE, Dr. Sonia Wallman of Montgomery College in Philadelphia, who will lead the biomanufacturing focus, and Clint Merkel from Bloomington, Indiana, from Ivy Tech, who will help lead the medical device effort. Will you please give them a round of applause? Now, there's a key component to this, a fourth component to this, which is going to be led by Dr. Michael Ayers. So I would like Dr. Michael Ayers to rise too, please. Dean Michael Ayers, sorry. This is the establishment of a learning center. Now, what's really important, if you think about people who have been displaced from the workforce, you have all kinds of people. We see them here every day, and a lot of them are here in the audience. And they could be an executive. They could be somebody who is working on the floor of a shop. So it's a wide variety of people coming in. So the question is, what was their prior experience? What's their prior learning? So Michael Ayers had this vision in the grant, and some of us were sitting there going, you sure you can pull that off? And he said, we're going to have a learning center. And yeah, that's great. You know, people do learning centers all across the country. But it's going to be a lab learning center. And what we're going to be able to do is assess their learning using workforce tests and so forth and so on, assess their skills, then put them through a modularized system of learning so that what they can do is they'll be assessed prior to coming in, but at the same time as they go through, they'll be able to complete their courses at their style, at their pace. Well, this was really, really interesting, and to do it in a laboratory setting would be excellent. So, Michael, you have the money now. Let's get it built. So essentially what we're trying to do is really 4 strategies. And those strategies are really to bridge the gap between the displaced workers and their preparation for entry-level jobs. That'll be the 20% of what we're doing. We're going to harmonize a set of core skills across these biosciences and introduce some stackable, latticed, portable, industry-recognized credentials. This is what Dr. Green was referring to. The other thing that we want to do is be able to accelerate the completion time for these people so that they can get these jobs. And I've mentioned the prior learning assessment, the focused supportive services, the removal of these barriers. What are these barriers? Barriers are time, really. Barriers are money. Barriers are technology to some. We've got to make sure that we can enable these people to be able to do what they are going to do. About a third of the money will work towards that. The fourth strategy is to build capacity. And I'd like Steve Doms from Los Angeles Valley College, who's sort of with Southern Medical Association, to stand up. He's flown in. He's probably a little dazed, but he is. But he is actually going to work very close in hand. And Steve, by the way, Steve is one of the original people of biotechnology, and we're just thrilled to have him on board and working with us. But Steve will work, and bottom line is in that area, they have a very, very rapid growing biotechnology area, especially in biomanufacturing. And the problem is the education level of the people that they have coming in for those kinds of jobs is really not that high, and they've got to kind of raise it up a little bit. So he's going to be working very carefully, but his Los Angeles Valley Community College will now have infrastructure to be able to make that into a program. Dr. Linda Reifus is here from Bucks Community College, Pennsylvania. Linda? Bucks is part of the biomanufacturing group, and they need infrastructure badly. They need to be able to gear up and get these people back to work up in Philadelphia. So again, what's going to happen, that's about 25% of the investment. And last but not least, what's really nice is actually Dr. Scott is actually involved with this grant as well. And much to perhaps his surprise and pleasure, one of the things the group decided that would be really, really good, we really believe firmly that these kinds of workers need to have practical hands-on experience. When they do this in internships or apprenticeships, they are better people coming into the workforce. They're road tested, so they really, really do well with the industry. And when we say industry, we all have industry advisory boards. We listen to them. That's how we make our curriculum. That's how we do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate universally a capstone experience for these people that are graduating. So for some qualified people, they'll come to North Carolina and actually go to the Capstone Center, which is based at NC State campus, and be able to participate in that. And one of our BioNetwork centers actually runs that, and that's under Dr. Scott's college. So I haven't introduced Marcia Corjay from Rowan Cabarrus Community College and Bill Woodruff from Alamance Community College. Please rise. So those of you who look at the money, I do, I'm from Glaxo, that's the way we're trained. It appears they have small portions of money. Well, the bottom line is they're going to be helping Michael Ayers and the rest of the team with their sagely advice, and that's why they're there. And we're really pleased to have them. It strengthens what's happening in North Carolina. So what's the end result? The end result is that the consortium projects approximately 2,000 participants will go through. About half of those will earn industry-recognized credentials, and about 3/4 of those folks will get jobs. And what that means is, people working in a very, very important industry which is growing despite a recessionary economy. Economy that's coming back, but nevertheless has been recessionary. So what does that mean at the bottom line for people when they're actually leaving? It used to be you'd show your resume, and what your resume looked like was, I went to such and such school, and you'd list all the schools and education and everything that you would go if you were like me. Now what they want to see on the resume is the skills. What skills? What are you capable of doing for me? So that's what we are addressing with this grant, and we're really, really pleased. So I'm going to get off the stage, and it's my pleasure right now to introduce Phil Sugart, CEO of Carolina Liquid Chemistries, who introduced the Vice President Biden not too long ago, so he's road tested. And he's going to tell you what kind of training that we're going to be doing through this grant that's going to help his company grow. Please welcome Phil Sugart.
Good morning. I am the president of Carolina Liquid Chemistries. We're a medical device company located in the Research Park. We're in the new Wake Forest Biotech Place. Thanks for coming over today to see the new facilities of Forsyth Tech and to learn about this new grant that we're going to hear about in a little bit. As Dr. Green said, this region of North Carolina was totally dependent on tobacco several years ago, and that industry has gone. Actually, my family is from Yadkin County, and we have grown tobacco in the same area up there for almost 200 years. In fact, my first cousin grows 400 acres of tobacco today and supports his family from that. 40 years ago, 400 acres of tobacco would have supported 100 families. And today that much supports one family. So you can see the dwindling of the tobacco industry. Those tobacco days are gone, and Winston-Salem now has shifted from tobacco-based economy to a biotech economy, and you can see that in the Research Park, where a lot of investment is being made, a lot of construction is going on, and new companies and the School of Medicine are moving into. I founded Carolina Liquid Chemistries in California 15 years ago when I was 50 years old and unemployed. Being unemployed and not having a place to go in the morning and not having people to work with is a humiliating and a demeaning position to have to be in, and it's not fun. You know, what do you do if you don't work? Life is all about work, I think, and being unemployed, I believe, would be the low point in just about anybody's life. So we all want to do what we can to help everybody find employment and have a job. And that's exactly what Forsyth Tech does, is to get people retrained and trained and get them employed. Our company manufactures and develops chemistry analyzers that are used in hospital laboratories, and they're used all over the country. We've got about 500 customers coast to coast. These automated machines are very complex, and to make these and support these systems requires a lot of technical background. We're a highly technical company. Our customers are technical. We speak technical, and almost all of our employees have a technical background. Our company needs biomedically trained people with lab skills in order to sell and make and support these systems. It's very exciting today for our community to receive this grant. It's going to prepare a lot of biotech jobs, and Carolina Chemistries will be a beneficiary of the work that everybody has done here. And for that, I'd like to thank Dr. Green, Russ Reed, and everybody here that was involved in the grant, and everybody that's doing the work that you do here, because we need the product that you make, and that's educated people with specific skills. We started our company with one employee, and that was me. And today we employ about 80 people. We're growing 25% a year, and in 5 years we'll be a company of about 200 people. And we're going to need a lot of people, and they're all going to have a technical background. And half of the people that we're going to hire are going to be here in this Winston-Salem area, but the other half are going to be all over the country, because we have to have field technicians to train, install, and maintain these systems. And the part of this grant is building a consortium of community colleges with the same curriculum and with students coming out with the same skills. And that's going to allow us to basically have a one-stop shopping approach in hiring these people, and I really like that part of what this grant's going to do. Forsyth Tech has been very good to our company. A good example is a guy named David Purser, who some of you know. David was an engineer employed. He lives in Walkertown. He was employed locally in an electronic components industry as an engineer, and that company moved out of this country. He was laid off and unemployed. There were no jobs in that sector for him, so he came to Forsyth Tech, got a degree in biotechnology, and we needed somebody with his skills, and we hired David. Over the last 3 years, he's worked for us, and he has not only rebuilt these used analyzers that we sell, he has created a whole department, and we've had to hire more technical people just like him. And good people make companies grow. And this institution puts out good people, and I believe that Forsyth Tech is a self-perpetuating place that creates good people, and these good people expand the workforce. They don't just graduate students here. I think you all make companies grow, and we really appreciate that. And I think that this grant we're going to hear about today will truly pay for itself. And thanks again for all your work. And I now will let our honored student come up and say a few words.
It's such an honor to be up here to introduce our next guest. He is a graduate and a former professor of law at New York Law School, where he was the director of its labor employment law programs. He was a senior fellow of the Life Without Limits project of the United Cerebral Palsy Association and a member of the National Advisory Commission on Workplace Flexibility. He served at the Department of Labor for 7 years during the Clinton administration, and during this time, he held several policy advising positions, including counselor to the Secretary of Labor and as acting Assistant Secretary of Labor for Policy. And on May 26, 2009, he was sworn in as the 11th Deputy Secretary of Labor since the position was first created. And so it is with great honor that I can introduce to you our Deputy Secretary of Labor, Seth D. Harris.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good cusp of the day. You couldn't tell, but Hannah was really, really nervous about giving that introduction. I think she did a great job. Don't you agree? And let me just say, everything we're all talking about today wouldn't be possible if it weren't for students like Hannah and her classmates who are investing in themselves. They have a vision of the future for themselves. And she's taking a gamble being here at Forsyth Tech. And it's the right gamble, it's the right investment. I want you to know we're really proud of you. And even more important, your children are going to look to you as a real role model. So thank you very much for everything you're doing here. And speaking of examples to live by, thank you very much to Congressman Mel Watt for welcoming me to his district. I didn't get a visa from his office, I probably should have. And he's a great champion of job creation programs, job training programs around the country. And I thank him very much for that contingent invitation to come back if I have a check in my pocket. Apparently I'm welcome back. Let me just say this, and this is something Congressman Watt knows very well. The president has proposed an additional $8 billion of investment in community colleges because he thinks this is the leading edge of economic development and job growth for our country. So as soon as Congress passes that, so let me just say, if Congress passes that, I'll get an apartment in North Carolina because I'll be back all the time. And let me thank all of our friends here at Forsyth Technical Community College, starting with President Gary Green and Director Russ Reed as well, and the staff who worked so hard and so quickly to make my visit here possible. Can I just say, I've been traveling around the country visiting lots and lots and lots of community colleges. You can't overstate the importance of visionary, charismatic, thoughtful, careful leadership to the success of an institution like Forsyth Tech. These kinds of things don't just happen. It's because of tremendous high-quality faculty and staff and visionary leaders like Russ and Dr. Green. So thank you very much for your terrific work here. And you've already heard that my opening acts have been through town. President Obama, Vice President Biden, our Assistant Secretary Jane Oates gave a commencement speech here. I'd like to thank them. Phil did such a good job introducing Vice President Biden that I think you guys are going to go on the road together. So thank you very much, Phil, and thank you for your partnership here with Forsyth Tech. Really appreciate that. I'm always happy to come to North Carolina and meet with folks who are doing the innovative work that is going to propel the American economy in the 21st century. And let me again commend Dr. Green and all the staff here at Forsyth Tech for the tremendous work that you're doing to build and prepare the workforce of the future. I had the opportunity just before coming down to this event to tour some of the Forsyth Tech's bioscience labs and meet with some and talk with some of the students upstairs. And it is impressive cutting-edge work. It's what my kids refer to as cool.gov. I mean, this is exciting stuff. And the Obama administration really wants to support that and to help you here at Forsyth Tech and the other colleges that are part of the consortium that are here in North Carolina as well with the work you're doing, and that's why I'm here today. The Trade Adjustment Assistance Community College and Career Training Grant Program, or as I've started calling it, the TACT program, is a $2 billion investment in American workers, workers who, through no fault of their own, have lost their jobs or been displaced due to trade, including many who've been unemployed for 6 months or longer. This grant program is also going to make new training opportunities available to thousands of younger workers who are preparing to enter the job market for the first time. The initiative originated with the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act and took effect in March 2010. And then President Obama fought very hard to get the program funded in the Healthcare and Education Reconciliation Act. So $2 billion of federal grants are going to be distributed to community college in 4 installments over 4 years. The first round went out in 2011. And just last week, my boss, Secretary of Labor Hilda Solis, announced the second round of grants. 297 community colleges across the country are going to share in the funding, with every state and the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico guaranteed to receive at least $2.5 million apiece. Our goal is simple. We're supporting community colleges that work directly with employers to develop training programs that respond to the real skills needs in our economy. In other words, employers and colleges work together to develop training that leads workers into good-paying, middle-class jobs that are available right now and will be around in the future. So I'm delighted to be here in North Carolina to congratulate Forsyth Technical Community College on leading a nationwide consortium that won a $15 million TACT grant. Now, Forsyth Tech took the lead in pulling together this consortium of 12 community colleges from around the country that are focused on biosciences training. And let me just say, a bunch of folks traveled a whole lot further than I did to be here, to be part of this event, who are part of the consortium. And although Russ was nice enough to recognize them, I also want to recognize them because they're critical partners in this process. So let me introduce or reintroduce Stephen Doms from Los Angeles, Elaine Johnson from San Francisco, Clint Merkel from Bloomington, Indiana. Go ahead and stand up as I call your names out. Sonia Wallman from Boston, Marcy Corjay from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Bill Woodruff from Graham, North Carolina, and Linda Refus from Newton, Pennsylvania. Parts of your consortium and partners with Forsyth Tech. Thank you so much for being here today. This job training program is going to succeed, and it's going to succeed in no small part because there are 14 medical research and bioscience employer partners who've signed on to support the effort, partners like Phil Shugart, who you met just a minute ago. And I think it's going to succeed because it has the help of state and local agencies and workforce investment boards from 10 metropolitan areas in 8 states, all of whom are committed to creating pathways to employment for the communities in their states. I know many of the consortium members and other partners travel long distances to be here today, and I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so much, not just for being here with us today, but for the work that you do every single day to help America's workers get into middle-class jobs. I also want to recognize, as President Green did, Dr. Stephen Scott, our grantee and the president of Wake Technical Community College. President Scott came down from Raleigh today. I'm really grateful to you for the tremendous work you're doing. His college is going to, go ahead, no, you should. Now, his college, which is not part of the consortium that we're celebrating here at Forsyth, got an individual grant of $3 million as part of the TAC program that will fund a project that will create an associate's degree in business analytics for trade-affected workers and other students who are enrolled at Wake Tech. And let me say, you have some gold standard corporate partners who you're working with, including IBM. And I think that program is also going to be a tremendous success in yet another industry sector. So Dr. Scott, let me just say congratulations to you and your outstanding staff. So as you might have been able to tell from my presentation so far and what you've heard, this is a program that is designed to help community colleges. And we know that for millions of Americans, community colleges offer a chance at a quality education that is both financially and geographically within their reach. That's especially important during our recovery because, you see, in order to have a truly American recovery, we have to have a recovery that's for everybody, not just for the few. And that's where community colleges play a critical and leading role. Community colleges are vital points of access for students who might not otherwise have the opportunity to acquire the types of education and skills and training that this grant was designed to make possible. A few months ago, I was in another part of Congressman Watt's district at Central Piedmont Community College down the road in Mecklenburg. And let me say, I keep coming back to North Carolina. It's not just for the barbecue, although that's a big part of it. But let me just say, what's going on in this state is exactly what President Obama had in mind when he fought so hard for this $2 billion program. Collaboration between employers and educators that will strengthen and expand the middle class. So today we're making a strategic investment in American workers, one that will ensure thousands of out-of-work individuals will be able to compete for, acquire, and most importantly, to succeed in good jobs, jobs that employers need to fill in order to be able to secure their success. Louis Pasteur said, "Fortune favors the prepared mind." Similarly, economic development favors the prepared workforce. Or to put it more directly, skills development can be the leading edge of economic development. The beauty of this program is that all of our grantees have formed strategic partnerships with local employers. With the funds that we're distributing, schools can develop training programs that will help grow the most promising local industries, like Phil's business. And just as important, they can build a skilled workforce that will attract employers from around the globe to in-source jobs right here in North Carolina. From my vantage point at the Department of Labor, I've seen how job training programs like this can transform a community. Look, we've taken a hit, no doubt about it, with the economic meltdown 4 years ago and a growing disparity in our country between the haves and the have-nots. Too many American workers have felt the doors of opportunity closing as the jobs they've trained for and relied on to feed their families are shipped overseas. But it turns out that the antidote to outsourcing was here all along. And as leaders in government and academia and the private sector, it's our collective responsibility to not just confront the challenges that are immediately in front of us, but to figure out how to seize the opportunities that lie ahead of us. That's what this consortium is going to accomplish. recognizing the opportunity to expand American leadership in the biosciences industry, they've come together to develop the curricula, assemble the laboratories, place the instructors, and recruit the students who will, in the very near future, manufacture life-saving medical devices, conduct groundbreaking research, develop biological and pharmaceutical medicines and vaccines, and invent tools that will safeguard our environment. Economic strength favors the prepared workforce. Skills development is the leading edge of economic development. A capable, sophisticated, and skilled workforce is the key to rolling back outsourcing and replacing jobs that have disappeared with jobs that will last. An economy that we intend to define on our own terms and on our own turf. That is the very essence of insourcing. Let me just say, I got warned before I spoke today that there's a new movie coming out. I'm off script now, so I don't know where this is going, but there's a new movie coming out, a Will Ferrell, Jack Black vehicle called The Campaign. Right? Anybody seen it? Right? Right. I've seen the trailers too. Haven't seen the movie. But here's what I hear is going to be in the movie. They're going to talk about insourcing, and it's going to be folks moving jobs back to the United States, but bringing very low-wage workers with them. That's not really what insourcing is all about. Insourcing is about having skilled workers here in the United States who are irresistible to employers so that they make a decision to site their plants, site their facilities, site their offices and their labs right here in North Carolina and in other parts of the United States. That's the strategy that President Obama is advancing here in North Carolina with this grant today. Now, to accomplish it, we have to do two things. First, we have to level the playing field so that everyone has a fair shot and everyone plays by the same rules. Second, we have to track our progress. We've got to correct our course as needed, and we have to hold ourselves accountable. After all, this grant money doesn't really come from me, although I'm happy to take the credit for it. It doesn't come really from Secretary Solis. It doesn't really even come from the Congress, with all due respect. It comes from the American taxpayers, right? And those dollars have to be invested wisely, they have to be invested efficiently, and they have to be invested effectively. And the American taxpayer is entitled to a report from us that their money has been spent in an intelligent way that produced great outcomes for their fellow Americans, and we intend to do that. I am confident we can make this program a great success. We have the world's hardest working workers here in the U.S., the world's best academic institutions, and the world's most creative entrepreneurs. And this is what President Obama is talking about when he says we're stronger when we work together. It's not just a statement of American values, it is a winning strategy for a sustained and broadly shared prosperity. A well-trained workforce means higher productivity, higher quality goods, higher profits, higher growth, higher wages. And all of that adds up to more good-paying middle-class jobs. So let me close by reminding all of you that President Obama has set a goal for us, not just for the Labor Department, but for all of us. And that is that we will train and place 2 million American workers in jobs through community college and employer partnerships. This investment in Forsyth Tech and its consortium partners and its employer partners around the country, and particularly here in North Carolina, is an important investment in reaching that goal. Never in our nation's history has it been more important for workers to continue their education after high school. Today we take a critical step to reassure workers that investing in their education is the right thing to do. Together we will train a world-class workforce to make the products the world wants to buy and to develop the revolutionary technologies we all need to survive and thrive. So let me again thank Dr. Green and the administration and staff of Forsyth Tech for inviting me to visit your campus today and to meet those fantastic students upstairs who I'm looking forward to them curing to whatever diseases are boiling in this body right now. What a terrific team here at Forsyth Tech and in this entire consortium. Thank all of you for your tremendous investment in this effort. We're honored to be able to invest in you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Secretary. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing the check. You know, when you're in school, and you know, you remember how you used to dread those days with when your report card come. You mentioned report cards. You used to dread those days. Well, I can tell you, Secretary, we're looking forward to that day, and we're looking forward for you and our other national leaders to be here to look at the success of this program a couple of years out, because it's going to be a great success. It's going to be a great success right here in North Carolina, in Winston-Salem, in Los Angeles, and San Francisco, in Philadelphia, and throughout Pennsylvania, throughout other parts of North Carolina. This is going to be a great success that I think you, the Department of Labor, our Congress, and others can take great pride in, that we have stepped up and helped the people of our communities and the people of the United States. I want to thank once again all of you for being a part of this today, especially thanks to all of our friends and colleagues who came from outside the area, who came to made a special effort to be with us today. I think the Deputy Secretary will be here if there are press. I know you talked to a reporter or two, but will be available for a few minutes for any press interviews. Thank you so much. We look forward to keeping you informed of our progress and continuing to put people to work. Thank you so much.